I've been fortunate enough to sail on 36 different cruise ships and have spent a total of 278 days on those ships in the 25 years I've been cruising. Now, that's a lot of time to really get to know cruising, which is why I do YouTube to share all that I've learned with you. But I've also come to know cruise ships, what's good about them, bad about them, and all the in between. I made a video a couple months ago ranking my favorite cruise lines. I encourage you to go back and check that out, but today we're going to get more specific. In this video, I'm going to share my top 10 favorite cruise ships with you and tell you why you should consider a trip on each of them. This list is, as all things I present on my channel, simply my opinion. My hope is that it's helpful to you in planning your future cruise vacation. Hello everyone, my name is Zach. I am the Traveling Man. Let's sail right into this list. Coming in at number 10 on the list is the Carnival Vista. Now, to save time and to accommodate more ships on this list, I'm only going to mention one ship per class of ship. So, the Carnival Vista was the first ship to premiere in Carnival's Vista class of ships, a ship with an entirely different style, denoting a departure from the gaudy ships of the past for the brand. Now, while I haven't sailed on any of the other Vista class ships, if I had, I would only include one of those ships in this top 10 list. But I did enjoy Vista so much that I sailed on her twice. And if I were to sail Carnival again in the future, it would definitely be on one of the Vista class of ships, either the Vista herself or her sisters, the Horizon or Panorama. I love the layout of these ships and the fresh design they offer, and Vista and Horizon even have an IMAX theater on board, so you can check out the latest releases while on board at an additional cost, of course. If you're looking to sail with Carnival, I highly recommend you check out the Vista class ships. In at number 9 is an older ship bringing that classic cruise vibe, the Celebrity Summit. This ship debuted back in 2001 and is the oldest ship on this list, in fact. However, Celebrity has completely revolutionized or refurbished this ship so that it looks like one of their newer, modern cruise ships. And the result is a modern experience on a classic scale. I enjoyed having all the luxuries that I enjoy on a Celebrity cruise on a much smaller ship than the rest of the fleet. Now, Summit is part of the Millennium class of ships, or the M class of ships, and the only ship of that class that I've tried, well, to date anyways. I would definitely sail on one of these ships again, but only if they've been refurbished. Celebrity Infinity and Celebrity Constellation are both sister ships of the Summit, but these have not been refurbished, and as such, I have no plans to sail on them anytime soon. In fact, I've heard that they're in pretty rough condition right now, so I'm going to wait to sell either of those until they've been refurbished, hopefully very soon in the future. But no matter which ship I'm sailing on, staying connected is important to me, especially as a solo cruiser. That's why I use Airalo all around the world, no matter where my travels take me. Airalo is the world's first eSIM that solves the pain of high roaming bills by giving you access to eSIMs, or digital SIM cards. And with their Digital Plus eSIM, I can use their mobile app to download one eSIM that can be used in 137 different countries. And now when you install Airalo free today, you can stay connected wherever you travel, and using my code ZACH, you'll get $3 off your first Discover Plus eSIM. That means not only can you skip from country to country for an entire year and just use one single eSIM, but you also don't have to wait in long lines at the airport to purchase a country-specific SIM card for an outrageous price. With Airalo's Discover Plus eSIM, you'll be able to call, text, and use cellular data all from one number. And with their easy-to-use mobile app, you can track your usage, top up anytime, and stay in control. Don't forget to download the free Airalo app today, use code ZACH to purchase your Discover Plus eSIM in advance, and only activate it when your trip begins. And number 8 is a ship I sailed so long ago I don't even have any clips of it, but Anthem of the Seas from Royal Caribbean was actually the first ship that I ever sailed on with that brand. Actually, this was the first cruise ship that I ever sailed on that wasn't a Carnival Cruise Line ship, so it was quite the culture shock from what I was used to. I particularly enjoyed the 270 theater at the very back of the ship. The 270-degree interactive space was so cool to experience from the first time, and I'd never seen anything like it at sea before. I also enjoyed the abundance of dining options on this ship and the clean, modern aesthetic it offered, especially when compared to some of those older Carnival ships that I was so accustomed to sailing on. Now, the Anthem is a quantum class of ship, and you can sail her and her sisters to destinations all around the world, including the Mexican Riviera, Alaska, Asia, and even Australia. So they're a great choice of cruise ship to some fascinating and unique ports of call. Well, speaking of Carnival Cruise Line, at number 7 is the Carnival Mardi Gras and the Excel class of ships from the brand. I was fortunate enough to sail on the inaugural sailing of the Carnival Mardi Gras back in 2021. Hard to believe that that's been 4 years now since this ship premiered. And I enjoyed the new direction that Carnival started going in with this ship. They took that clean design that premiered on the Vista and made it even bigger. Mardi Gras and her sisters Celebration and Jubilee, neither of which I've been on, also feature multiple unique neighborhoods to enjoy and a wide variety of food options, from a food truck concept out by the main pool to Guy's Smokehouse Barbecue, and my personal favorite, the Shack's Big Chicken Shack, and you can't forget the delicious Guy's Burger. You can always find a good bite to eat that's actually included in your cruise fare on the Mardi Gras. The ship also featured the first roller coaster at sea, and I certainly enjoyed the thrilling ride around the aft of the upper decks of the ship. Now, if you're looking for big fun for everyone, Mardi Gras and her sisters certainly could be for you. A few minutes ago, we talked about the Anthem of the Seas and the Quantum series of ships from Royal Caribbean. Next up is a ship that reminded me a lot of those ships, and that's because it's from a sister brand and built by the same manufacturer. The Celebrity Silhouette is part of the Solstice class of ships from Celebrity Cruises. Now, I've actually sailed on every ship in the Solstice class, that being the Solstice, the Equinox, the Eclipse, the Silhouette, and the Reflection. Now, while the ships are very similar in layout and design, the Silhouette feels like a more complete cruise ship than those others, and that's because she's the only one that's been completely refurbished, while the others have only been partially revolutionized. Now, the Silhouette and her sisters feature signature glass elevators in the main atrium. They all feature the Lawn Club there on the back of the ship, which features real grass that's manicured by an onboard team of specialists, the delicious Tuscan Grill Murano restaurants, and a wonderful observation lounge at the very front of the ship on the highest deck. Now, Celebrity recently announced plans to completely overhaul Celebrity Solstice by the spring of 2026, so I'm excited to see this class of ship be reborn over the next few years. Really excited to see what Celebrity is going to do with those ships. Now entering the top 5, where it's about to get both exciting and innovative with some of the best and most impressive cruise ships that I've ever sailed on. Up first is Norwegian Encore, which is a Breakaway Plus class of ship from Norwegian Cruise Line. I sailed on Encore a couple years ago to Alaska and honestly thought the ship was just too large for that destination. However, I did thoroughly enjoy the ship, particularly its wraparound promenade there on Deck 8. They dubbed that the Ocean Boulevard, and it features outdoor seating for specialty dining restaurants. It's also a great place to walk if you enjoy walking laps on a cruise ship. You can go not all the way around, but almost all the way around, like 3/4 of the way around the ship, and I enjoy walking back and forth there in the mornings and in the evenings. And talk about specialty dining restaurants. There are so many restaurants featured on this ship, including the Local. The Local is a 24/7 complimentary eatery that's open to the main atrium down below, so you can actually sit there and have a bite to eat while you're looking down at whatever show they might be doing there in the atrium. Now, the Local has some of the best chicken wings at sea, and I just fell in love with the venue on board this ship. Now, the Encore also features Q Texas Smokehouse, which is a specialty restaurant featuring barbecue, where live country music is performed while you enjoy your meal. Now, if you're a solo cruiser, this ship has you covered with its studio staterooms and the accompanying studio lounge. Now, these solo staterooms are only about 99 square feet, but are both innovative and unique for us solo cruisers. Now, I'd be doing you a major disservice here if I didn't mention the observation lounge that's located on the very front of the ship. This lounge on the Encore is probably one of the best observation lounges that I've experienced on any of my cruises. It's seriously impressive, and I loved that part of that ship sailing in Alaska because you could go out there and get stunning views. It was cold in Alaska, of course, but you could get stunning floor-to-ceiling window views of anywhere you were sailing. Now, there are several ships in the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus series of ships. Now, the Plus here simply denotes that the ship is a little bit larger and has additional features than the other ships in the series. I've been on Joy and Encore so far, and these are actually the biggest ships in Norwegian's fleet, even bigger than the newest ship from Norwegian Cruise Line. They're so big, in fact, that both the Joy and the Encore feature the Norwegian Speedway, which is a go-kart track on the very top of the ship. So, if you want a thrilling cruise adventure with some scenic views and delicious food, then the Encore and the Breakaway series of ships just might be for you. Now, did someone say big and thrilling? Because next up at number 4 on the list of my favorite cruise ships is a ship that blew me away in mega fashion. I'm talking about the Utopia of the Seas, which currently just happens to be the second largest cruise ship in the world and the newest cruise ship, well, for about another month or so, from Royal Caribbean. Utopia is part of the Oasis class of ships and was my very first megaship experience. And I honestly didn't know what to expect before sailing on the ship, but I ended up loving it and all of its unique neighborhoods, from the real live Central Park, which featured real live trees and plants. It was amazing in there, to the excitement of the boardwalk. There are just so many things to see and do on this cruise ship, and so many places to eat too. These ships carry over 7,000 guests, so naturally they feature more unique places to relax, unwind, and have a little fun than most of the other cruise ships on the seas today. Now, if you've never tried one of these mega ships before, you just have to do it, I promise you. Don't be scared away by the number of people on board. I thought it would feel crowded and cramped. The ship is designed with all of those spaces I mentioned to keep the people dispersed throughout the ship. They do such a good job keeping people dispersed so it doesn't feel crowded. And because of the Utopia of the Seas, I myself can't wait to go on a Royal Mega ship again very, very soon. Now, make way for a lady at number 3. Her name is Valiant. The Valiant Lady is one of Virgin Voyage's beautiful and unique lady ships. Now, Virgin, which is a relatively new cruise line, aims to do cruising differently, and they do just that with all of their ships. Now, I've only sailed on Valiant, but equate it to an adult playground, because, and perhaps the best part about this cruise line, is they are adults only. However, when I first saw pictures and videos of these ships, I honestly thought they were ugly. But not long after boarding for the first time, I had completely changed my mind about that, because Valiant Lady and her sisters feature a number of restaurants that are all unique and all included in your cruise fare, by the way. They also feature actual adult playgrounds on the upper decks, hammocks on the balconies, a transformative theater which lends itself to creative and unique performances, and a food truck style main buffet area. The rooms are pretty cool too, with features you just won't find on any other cruise line. Now, Virgin is certainly doing things differently, and you just have to sail on one of their ships to discover all the ways they're making this work. Now, their newest ship debuts in September of 2025, and I hear it's going to be brilliant, and I can't wait to see that one. Now, coming in at number 2 on the list is a ship that goes, well, beyond. I'm talking about the Celebrity Beyond. I've been on the Celebrity Beyond a couple of times. The Celebrity Beyond is part of Celebrity's Edge series of ships, and I have for a long time called these the best cruise ships at sea. I mean, I just love the Celebrity Edge series of ships, and when we talk about that, we're talking about the Celebrity Edge, the Celebrity Apex, the Celebrity Beyond, of course, the Celebrity Ascent, and soon to be the brand new Celebrity Excel, which comes out in November of 2025. Excited to see that ship. But these ships are just like nothing I've ever seen at sea before, or at least when they came out back in, I think, 2019. They were just so revolutionary. There had been nothing like it in the cruise industry before. The ships are so sleek. They're so modern. I call it modern elegance, and I love the modern elegance that they feature on board all these ships. Delicious food. I mean, I think Celebrity has some of the best food at sea, and they have 4 main dining rooms on these ships. They also have several specialty restaurants, including Eden Restaurant, which is in the Eden part of the ship on the very back of Deck 5 back there. And Eden is cool because you go back there and talk about having real vegetation on a ship. They do have real plants back there. They have these stunning wraparound windows all the way around Eden back there. Just a beautiful place to go and hang out. There's a bar back there. There's a cafe back there. But you really cannot go wrong with the Celebrity Beyond and her sisters. They also feature the rooftop garden area of the ship there on the very top of the ship in the very back, which also features the sunset bar and the seating area there. The resort pool, which is the main pool on board those ships, is just beautiful. And I feel like Celebrity with the Edge series commits more space on their ships to pools than just about any other cruise line. And it's funny because they're not particularly pandering to families like a lot of cruise lines which have a lot of pools, but they have a huge pool there. They also have the solarium with the indoor pool and hot tubs. So I don't care where you're looking on these ships. The staterooms are all beautiful with the infinite verandas, the sunset verandas, the sky suites, the retreat area, which is the suite area. It's like a ship within a ship concept. Only suite guests can go inside the retreat. So all of the areas on board all of these Edge series of ships are absolutely beautiful. So that's why they're number 2 on my list. And you might be wondering, well, that sounded pretty perfect. What could beat that? Well, as of recently, there have been a couple of cruise ships that have beat it. So these cruise ships that I would put at my number 1 are both in the same series of ships. But I'm going to go with the newest ship, which I just sailed a few months ago now, actually on its maiden voyage across the Atlantic. I'm talking about the Norwegian Aqua. And I had sold her sister, the Norwegian Prima, because she is part of the Prima series of ships, about a year ago now. Loved that ship so much. So couldn't wait when her sister Aqua came out. Brand new ship from Norwegian Cruise Line. And these ships are seriously stunning. I talked about the Celebrity Edge series of ships. The Prima series of ships actually remind me a lot of the Edge series of ships. They have a clean, modern, elegant design to them, but they feature more fun elements too because they're created with the whole family in mind. So Norwegian Aqua actually has the first water slide coaster at sea. The Aqua, like the Encore, also features a wraparound promenade there on deck 8, but on Aqua, it features infinity pools, it features some slides, or actually the terminus area for the slides, which start way up on deck 18 and come 10 stories to deck 8, outdoor seating for specialty restaurants, just seating areas in general. And then the best part about these ships has to be the Indulge Food Hall, which is in the very back of the ship there on deck 8. You can take your food outside, but Indulge Food Hall is kind of like a food truck concept. There's a lot of different eateries in there and you can order from any of them, but the way that you order the food, how it's delivered to your tables, the taste of the food, the availability of the food. I love Indulge Food Hall. It definitely moves the Prima series of ships up this list for me. I just cannot say enough good things about the Prima series, and particularly the Norwegian Aqua. Now, the Norwegian Aqua is a little bit different from Norwegian Prima. It's actually a part of the Prima Plus series of ships because it's a little bit bigger. It features some venues that weren't on the Prima. I could just gush all day about Norwegian Aqua and her sisters, the Prima and Viva. They're my favorites. Norwegian Aqua is currently my favorite cruise ship in the entire world, and that's why it's number 1 on my list. So there you go, my top 10 favorite cruise ships at sea and their sister ships where they exist. Again, this is all based upon my experiences and opinions, but now I'm curious to know what you think. Are there any of your favorite cruise ships on this list? Am I missing some on mine? Give me some of your recommendations and sound off down in the comments. I really want to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you did, please be sure to go down below, give me a thumbs up. And while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. We have a lot of cruise adventures to go on very, very soon. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure.